I just refilled it, too. Oh. Ah. Come on. I don't understand why I'm having so much problems with this doggone ladder. Welcome one and all to part 2 of Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishments. Got a great show for you today. Looking forward to this broadcast a lot. We got our toes wet in Sherlock Holmes last week. Due to the nature of my schedule that week, I was only able to broadcast for about an hour and a half. But today I've got a good full 4-hour broadcast ahead of us. And so we should be able to get through this first case, which we almost completed last time, and then move on to something else. I'll move on to case number 2. I'm excited about it. I hope you are as well. Let's see if we're live on Facebook and YouTube. There we go. We're live on Facebook. Good to see you, Jason, Jonathan, Matthew, Erica, and Katie, both Katie Webb and Katie Jane and James. Let's see if we're live on YouTube. And we are. We should be able to get through this. Good to see all of the members and regulars and Patreon subscribers and mods on Facebook, YouTube today. We've got Gertie D, Jocelyn Ryan, Slatty Bartfast with a gold derby, Courtney Zayas, Barry LeCount, John de Giambaradino, S. Darth Knight, Slatty Bartfast, Miwi Sean Fernango with a gold derby. Douglas Stilligard says, hello, Oxhorn and all in chat. Hey there, Douglas. Always great to see you. First one in with a super chat. Of course, it's Douglas Stilligard today. Sean Fernango and Buff Canucks and Gemma with their gold derbies looking amazing. Same with Vonderbergen and Julian Z. Jocelyn Antonio with a donation of stars, keeping up her 29-week streak on fire on Facebook today. Thank you so much. Well, I hope you enjoyed my broadcast of Cyberpunk 2077 on Monday. We finished all of the different endings that I had access to on Monday, which means that when we do Cyberpunk 2077 next week, we'll be digging through many of those side quests and gigs and taking a look at them. I'm mostly done with them. I've got a handful left. You know, I was thinking about The Witcher 3 and whether or not I wanted to go through all of the question marks on the map. And no, I'm not going to be doing that with The Witcher 3. There are just way too many. But in Cyberpunk 2077, they're all more or less contained in a navigable city. So I think I am going to try and get all of those question marks done. But that said, it probably won't take me long, like 1 or 2 streams maybe to get them all done. I could be setting myself up for a disaster. Maybe it's going to take much longer than that, but it means that I'm going to have to find a new game to replace Monday's Cyberpunk. So let me know your thoughts in the chat and in the comments. Christina says, love you, Oxhorn. You are so genuine. Well, thank you very much, Christina, and I appreciate you being on the program today. Now, let's see if we can finally set this pipe on fire. Man, smoking a tobacco pipe is so much more complicated than a cigar. I had to end the pipe early last week because some of the loose leaf tobacco got stuck in the stem and I couldn't draw any smoke through it, which is why I switched to the cigar so early. I cleaned it out. But now I got to really work to get some embers on top. Ah. And it's all spilling out. Once I get that first layer of ash on top, then it should be okay. All right. Well, it's not working the way I want it to today. I might have to go to the cigar right away. Miwi says, did you know that the one who voiced Sherlock Holmes in this game did quite a lot of voices for some trains in Thomas the Tank Engine children's TV show? I didn't know that. But, leave it to Miwi to uncover that fascinating tidbit. Thank you very much, Miwi. Don't want to burn my fingers. And whatever tube says, awesome last Fallout Tactics video. Smoke away and play on, sir. Thank you, whatever tube. There we go. I hope you enjoyed the last Tactics video. I'm making great progress on the next one, by the way. The last Tactics video was all about Springfield, a huge Simpsons reference, and it was lots of fun. The next one, St. Louis, is probably my favorite mission in the game. We get a brand new vehicle, we get some decent weapons, we get our first big weapons, we do straight up trench warfare. It's insane. I've got all the footage done. I've got my audio recorded and edited. I just got to piece it together. So I'm definitely going to have it on time for you this weekend. I can't wait to share it with you. I'm also, I'm getting through it. Like, I'm almost halfway done with every mission in Fallout Tactics. Can you believe it? I feel like I just started this series, but I'm almost already halfway done with it. So we're definitely whipping through it at a, breakneck pace there. Okay, crush it. Well, it's smoking a bit hot today. I'm out of practice with the pipe. Vince M says, good afternoon, Ox. Thank you, Vince M. Good afternoon. And Jocelyn Ryan says, so glad to have the power back in time for the stream. Ox and chat, you help lift the spirits here in my Texas abode. Yeah, I mean, I've just been seeing the news coming out of Texas. And, God, my heart is with each and every person right now in Texas. You know, the cold snap came directly from the Arctic. It was colder in Texas than it was in Alaska yesterday, according to this article that I read. Colder in Texas than it was in Alaska. It's like the temperature from the Arctic just came straight down, and I think 70% of the states in the United States, North America, is covered in snow right now. We're covered in snow. I mean, it's melting. We had a big rainstorm last night, which has washed away most of the snow here in the Seattle area. But for the past several days, we've had a bunch of snow. And I know many of you are experiencing snow too, but man, we haven't had nearly as bad infrastructure issues as Texas has had the past several days. So yeah, my heart goes out to all of you in Texas right now. Keep on keeping on. I hope you guys can make it unscathed. And then now Slatty Bardfast says, Frogware has Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 coming out this year. Well, maybe this will be the year of Sherlock Holmes or something, because after this game, there's another one that I wanted to do that came out just a few years ago. Or maybe it was 2019 or 2020. Maybe it was last year. I don't know. It's a more recent one than the one we're playing now. And if we like it, maybe we'll play that one. There we go. See, that's what you want to see. You want to get all that loose leaf on the very top, charred and turned into white ash so that you can crush it down and make like a barrier of ash that the fire can go into, but the loose leaf tobacco inside isn't going to come springing out. The trick is getting to that point without producing tongue bite. All right, let's get back to the game. Now, when we last left our hero, he was trying to arm wrestle a fisherman in a pub. And I'm just going to say it now. I don't like this minigame. I could really do without it. And the problem is that they're not letting me advance in the story until I beat this guy at arm wrestling, which is ridiculous. He's Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. He's not a hardened sailor. I mean, sure, he can wear an outfit to look like one, but you want Sherlock Holmes to actually beat one of these dock workers in arm wrestling? Well, I mean, I suppose there's a trick to it, right? Like, you can lock your arm, and it's not really about strength. It's about whether or not you know the trick. And I suppose Sherlock Holmes would know the trick. I don't know. I mean, I've never figured out the trick myself. I'm not good at arm wrestling. So, but man, I'm not enjoying this minigame. I'm not able to read his facial expressions to be able to predict what he's going to do well enough. But I'll keep trying. I'll definitely keep trying. If I can't get it done, boy, that'll be a short broadcast, won't it? Oxhorn spent 2 hours trying to arm wrestle a guy in a pub and then gave up. That might be the broadcast today. We'll see. Stick with me. Pavel says, from the show recommendations I've tried for you, I like Mutant Year Zero the most. Interesting characters, great story, turn-based combat like Wasteland. I remember you recommending Mutant Year Zero. It's on my list. I'll have to check it out again. Brett Buss says, my best friend lives just outside Portland, and he hasn't had power since last Friday night because of the snow up that way. Wow. I mean, Portland it's only 3 hours away from where I live. Well, I guess I'm really lucky. We had all of the power issues a couple of weeks ago due to the wind, but the snow and the ice that we currently have it's been okay. We haven't had a power outage up here due to that. I just had internet issues a couple of weeks ago, but that's doing all right now. Oh, now you want to work? No, you're still being a jerk? Yeah, jerk? All right, there's the game. Brett Buzz says, isn't Sherlock good at hand-to-hand combat? Maybe I've watched the wrong Sherlock shows. I mean, I've only read 2 or 3 books. I read The Hound of the Baskervilles and a couple of others. There was one anthology that had a couple of stories in it that I read. And it's true that even in the books, Sherlock Holmes was kind of like a man's man. He was a detective, but he was also good with guns, and he could do strange feats of strength as well. But arm wrestling a sailor in a pub, I don't know. He's supposed to be a nerdy detective. This is why I like Poirot. Like, Sherlock Holmes is okay, but I like Poirot because Agatha Christie, she doesn't beat around the bush. Poirot is not a man's man. He's not doing feats of strength. He's not arm wrestling guys in pubs. He sits there in his ridiculous outfit and his crazy curly mustache doing what he does best, solving crimes. Just being the most intellectual man in the room and not being ashamed about it. He's not a chick magnet, right? But he's Poirot. He solves crimes. He detests murder. And he makes the world a better place. But we're not playing Poirot today. We're playing Sherlock Holmes. Let's get back to it. Kat says, hey, Ox, good Valentine's Day. Wonderful Valentine's Day. Spent it with the kiddos. Having a blast here in the snow. All right, let's move the camera. Over there. The Easy Life says, yes, a stream without the red light of death. Yeah, I did a connection check before I even went live, and I'm getting 30 megabits per second upload. That should be enough. Let's try this again.
I'm ready to try again.
Fine. If you want me to take all your money, no problem with that.
God, I hate this so much. Maybe I'm missing something. Follow Patrick Cairns' facial expressions to understand his moves. Push. God!
That's the arm that killed 100 whales. Care to lose another 10 shillings?
I can't believe I have to actually beat this guy at arm wrestling to continue with the stinking... Like, surely after spending $1,000 or something arm wrestling this guy, he'll answer my questions. It says space to skip. Jocelyn Ryan says, yeah, David Suchet was my favorite Poirot actor, but I did read every book. I'd totally play a Poirot game. I would as well. I haven't read the books, but I watched every episode of David Suchet's Poirot. BBC Agatha Christie, it's the best. Miwi says, most of the trivia on voice actors and all I either know by hearing the voice or using sites like Behind the Voice Actors Wikipedia or IMDb. Now, I imagine that, Miwi. Thank you very much. Ox, you can skip by pressing space. Oh, I'm going to try that then. This is stupid.
I'm ready to try again.
Fine.
Yes! Thank you, chat. Oh, man.
You were lucky. I wasn't focused. Let's go again.
What? No, I have to win like 3 times or something?
I'm ready to try again.
Fine. If you want me to take all your money.
Yes.
Well, good for you, I reckon. You're stronger than you look. Here's your 10 shillings.
I'd like to buy you a drink.
Good winner as well. That's good. Let's have a drink. You're a good type. Seems you've managed to settle down in life. You've got money, eh?
Not all that much.
Oh, well. At least you're not as poor as me.
I think we got everything on our last broadcast. Yep, complete.
Why do you say poor? You're not working?
I'm a harpooner. But you see, the whalers are rare. They don't pay much. So, as a result, find myself arm wrestling to pay for my drink.
Harpooner, you say? Interesting. It just so happens we are looking for a harpooner.
A harpooner? Interesting. You've had a lot of adventures, I bet.
Of course. It's been a dozen years since I sailed. I've seen everything. Old Wallace, damn Black Peter, Great Roger. We sailed to the Cape of Good Hope.
Blunderbutt in the chat with a donation. Thank you very much, Blunderbutt. Black Peter, huh?
Black Peter, you say? I've heard rumors about that one.
He was the worst of them all. He was a liar, and violent too. Swinging those fists of his around. He was a tyrant, and not much of a captain. At least, not as good as Great Roger.
I see. Yes. I was told terrible tales about Black Peter.
But you ain't heard the worst.
Oh. Another drink, bartender.
Tell me, and let's have another drink.
It was in 1883 that it happened. The August of that year. Peter Carey was captain of the Sea Unicorn, and I was a spare harpooner. We were coming out of the ice pack on our way home. One evening, we saw a little craft that had been blown north. There was only one man on her, and he wasn't a sailor. The crew must have thought that she'd foundered, and they made for the Norwegian coast in the dinghy. I guess they all drowned. We took the man on board.
The banker. It's the banker. Bane and Do says, shout out to Levi Warden in chat, who loves your videos. Also, Far Cry 5 is awesome. Don't listen to the haters. Amazing story, very intense at times. Far Cry 5. You know what? I have been looking at that one. I might have to check it out.
And who was he?
I don't know. During the crossing, he and the skipper enjoyed some long talks. His baggage was just a tin box.
That's strange enough.
All those securities in it.
Even stranger was that on the second night, he disappeared. Nobody knew what happened to him. And of course, nobody could ask Black Peter about it.
So Black Peter killed him and took all of the bond papers.
You know what happened, don't you?
I do. I saw the skipper tie his heels and push him over the rail in the middle of my watch on that dark night. 2 days before we sighted the Shetland lights.
Black Peter's a murderer.
Aye. Those that know him wouldn't be surprised to hear it. But all this must stay between us. All right?
Of course.
Plant pouch. Go to toilet? What?
Back in a second. I'm off to the Kazi.
I'll be here with my drink.
Plant pouch. What, we're planting evidence on him now? Wait a minute. I don't like this. We're not supposed to plant evidence. Plant the pouch into... Oh, right. The tobacco pouch that has his initials on it. If we slip it into his pocket... Okay, I get it now. I get it. Oh, we're even gonna do this. No, they can't be bothered to put a cutscene in here. No, we're gonna have an actual quick time event. Let's drag it.
Here it is.
Okay, well, we need to go to the bathroom, right? La-di-da, bathroom. Okay, I'm done. Flush.
Have you got any tobacco? I've run out of mine.
Nah, I lost my pouch. I don't know where. Wait a minute. What's this?
Oh, is this your tobacco pouch?
Well, oh, it is.
Well, I have to go now. I know a captain who's planning an expedition to Cape Cod. Captain Ahab's his name.
Really?
He commanded the Pequod. He might need good harpooners. I'll tell him about you.
Look out for that white
Maybe,
whale.
if you like, aye.
I'm done here. It's time to leave.
How is he a harpooner and he doesn't know Moby Dick? Rain Palace. Cairns has confirmed that the pouch belongs to him. This means that he was at the scene of the murder and thus proves his guilt. Or the pouch proves a visit. Cairns has confirmed that the pouch belongs to him. This means that he was at the scene of the murder, but does not necessarily prove that he is the murderer. And technically speaking, this is still true. This lucky throw, I like that one better. I mean, the lucky throw could still work, but see, we're not getting any connections here. If we choose that it proves his guilt, there's still no connection. One inevitable conclusion that Karen is guilty because it connects with the feat of strength. You needed a very strong harpooner to be able to throw the harpoon. And it explains the stolen valuable papers because he knew that the man discovered out at sea had the valuable papers. Cairn is guilty. Peter Carey was murdered by Patrick Cairns. Cairns is a professional harpooner. His tobacco pouch was found inside Carey's cabin. We can condemn him. Patrick Cairns is a cold-blooded murderer. He has been found guilty of the murder of Peter Carey and must be punished. Or we can absolve Cairns. Patrick Cairns killed Peter Carey, but the murder was not premeditated. It was in self-defense against an armed and irrational drunken sailor. Well, we don't know that much yet. Let's continue the investigation. And let's put this one back to proves his visit, just in case we get more evidence later. So we could condemn Hurtley. But the problem with condemning Hurtley is there are other things that his presence does not explain. But this one does explain it. Hurtley's innocence. Nelligan's innocence. Could have been cut, so this is back to Nelligan. But he doesn't fit the profile of a murderer, so really... Unless we get more evidence, the only conclusion we have is that it was Carey. Or Cairns. This is new. Peter Carey was trying to conceal the murder of John Nelligan's father. Patrick Cairns told the story of how in August of 1883 he had observed Peter Carey throwing a man overboard. The man had been saved from the sea only the previous night. The man was obviously Joshua Nelligan. Patrick is a professional harpooner. Like many sailors, he is a heavy smoker, as his yellow fingers indicate. We found the romantic correspondence. We haven't found the bonds, though. Fanta says afterwards you can see if you were right. It'll let you know before moving on and then go back and replay. You see. Hope you're having a fab day, Ox. Thank you, Fanta.
You met Patrick Cairns, the harpooner. Do you believe he's the murderer?
Sure he's not going to help me out. I do. He's got to be the one. The other two don't add up.
If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Holmes, could you explain it to me?
As I informed you on our way here, Patrick Cairns is the murderer of Black Peter.
Why bring me here? Wouldn't it be better if we were out looking for him?
That would be futile, as he will be with us in approximately 12 seconds.
Oh, well, if this is your idea of humour...
No, I just heard the front door. Prepare yourself.
Good day, gentlemen. A young lad gave me a note from Captain Ahab. Am I at the right address? Is he here?
Indeed, it is the correct address. But in place of your captain, may I present to you Inspector Lestrade of Scotland Yard?
That means...
It means, my friend, that you are arrested for the murder of Black Peter.
What? What? A trap? You think you can take me?
Here now. We'll have none of that.
And I say that we will.
Oh! Oh, come on. Well, I can't arm wrestle him, but I can knock him out. Doggone quick time events.
Are you all right? Are you able to stand?
Oh, my jaw. Gore. He took me by surprise, Mr. Holmes. Otherwise, he would have seen what I'm capable of. Oh.
Yes, he was lucky.
But you got him.
It was remarkably easy. He lost his balance after he struck you.
Oh.
And you practice boxing, I
Ever
know.
the gentleman,
You must have hit him
Sherlock
hard.
Holmes.
Our fellow is knocked out.
We should call for a police cab and then take you to the hospital.
Yes, well, no need for a hospital. I would prefer to keep this between us. You know.
Of course,
course.
Inspector. The case is closed.
Did we get it right? Peter Carey was murdered by Patrick Cairns, a professional harpooner, the only one capable of executing such an accurate throw. His tobacco pouch was found inside Carey's cabin. He is a cold-blooded murderer. You have decided to bring him into justice. Clues found 16. Conclusion: Cairns is guilty. Moral choice: condemn Cairns. Space. Hold to check your conclusion. May spoil the game experience. I gotta know. Green. Yes. I got 16 of 16 clues, and my conclusion was correct. Cairns is guilty. Yay! Let's accept it. Warning, you are about to finish the case. The save files for this case will be removed. Press no if you would like to select another moral choice. Press yes if you agree with the choice you have made and you are ready to start a new chapter. Yes. Your ranking. What's this? Is it comparing my stats with other players? Personality ranking, justice seeker. Oh, okay, so 81% of people solved the case the same way, but only 40% made the same moral choice. Oh, wait a minute. Well, what would the other option have been? Like, we put together all of the evidence. We found the murderer. Oh, I see. So the other players were saying that it was justified homicide. Okay, well, the reason I'm disagreeing, so I'm arguing against 60% of the people who made the different moral choice. The reason that I made the one that I did is because Cairns did it out of greed, not because he thought that Black Peter was a scoundrel and needed to be taught a lesson. No, he stole the bank bonds. We didn't get those back, right? Those belonged to the son, and he didn't get all of them back. So he went to go visit Black Peter, not to make sure that he met justice, but so that he could kill him and steal the bonds that he knew that Black Peter had. So the guy was a scoundrel too. I mean, maybe he was better than Black Peter. I don't know. But neither of them were really good chaps. So that's why I still decided to put him to send him to justice. Anyway, next chapter. We got to tap that ash. Tap, tap. There we go.
This trip to the countryside will be good for you, Holmes. As your friend and your doctor, I really do recommend that you give yourself a complete change of scene. Fresh air, brisk walks, bird watching, chopping wood.
Sounds intolerable. I mean, certainly it sounds delightful.
But you haven't yet told me who your friend is, the one we're going to visit.
He is a bee lover.
A bee lover? Do you mean that he keeps bees? That must be Mrs. Hudson, bringing the warm cloth that I requested.
There is someone to see you, Mr. Holmes.
I have no time. Send whoever it is away.
Yes, Holmes, I really think we ought to leave now.
Oh, who's this fella?
Mycroft.
Sherlock.
Oh, Mr. Holmes? Perhaps you don't remember me. I'm Dr. Watson. We met at the Diogenes Club a few years ago. I documented our encounter in a short story I gave the title The Greek Interpreter.
He does remember you, Watson. My brother remembers everything.
I love
and that
Mycroft.
is why he is so valuable to the government.
We're about to depart for the train station.
I know.
You know?
Sherlock, I need your help. There are people who presently threaten both our country and the Crown itself. You must help us with those methods of yours.
Need help. Those are not words I would readily associate with you, Mycroft.
I wrote you a letter, but you did not reply. And this is not about politics. It's about people. People similar to those whom you pretend to defend in your petty detective affairs.
Everything is about politics with you, Mycroft. I'm not interested. Have some of your agents, your spies, or worse, undertake this job of yours. You are defending your people, and they have little to do with the people I choose to help, I can assure you.
That is the point. You think exactly as they do.
Who are they?
The Merry Men. He is talking about the Merry Men, a band of idealistic terrorists.
Sherlock, do please think about it. They are planning something diabolical. Your country needs you.
You need me, Mycroft, and you are not the country. Although if your waistline expands very much further.
Mrs. Hudson, tea will not be necessary. Dr. Watson, the train conductor, Mr. Parker, is aware that you will be 7 minutes late. You are in the 4th car. The train will be waiting for you. Sherlock, enjoy your time in Staffordshire. And do, please, at least write to me on your return.
Souvenirs. Ooh, we got to keep the harpoon. I was complaining about this. We stole that poor lady's harpoon. We stole it, and we got to keep it as a souvenir. Douglas Delegard says Cairns was still poor. It didn't say he found them, nor did you. Just saying. I mean, you're right. You're right. He was still poor. He was still in the pub. But he's the only guy who could have done it. I mean, we only had 2 other suspects. First was the gardener. We already established his motive for coming back. Neither he nor Mrs. Carey knew of the existence of the bonds in that box. She didn't know what kind of papers were there. The gardener didn't know what kind of papers were there. So it's impossible for either of them to have stolen the bonds. They didn't even know they existed. Now, the son of the banker did know that they existed, but he didn't get his hands on them. Remember, the box had been removed. Wait a minute, the box had been removed. And we found the box. But inside were the love letters. But then that must mean that Mrs. Carey. Oh, did I miss a piece to this? Did Mrs. Carey find the bonds after the murder of her husband? Or no, maybe the gardener did. Because the box was missing. And we found the box, but the bonds weren't inside of it. Shoot. Well, he clearly murdered Black Peter, but maybe he didn't know about the money. But then why else would he be there? What would his motive be, right? He came to the residence of Black Peter, what? To confront him about the murder of the guy on the raft that happened a decade ago? Maybe, but why now? Why did he choose this moment? Because he was out of money. He was between jobs. He didn't have any money. He couldn't get a new gig. He was stuck in a pub, smoking his pipe, arm wrestling people for cash. Then he remembers about Black Peter and all the money Black Peter stole, so he goes to rough the guy up a bit. Hey, I know you murdered this guy. I know you have this money. I want a piece of my own. Whether or not he did it in self-defense because Black Peter was drunk and tried to attack him, he was there to hustle the guy to get the money. So it's possible that he killed him with the intent to steal the money, but the bonds had already been taken. Well, no, that wouldn't make sense because, well, we solved that case. Let's move on to the next one. So this game is going to get to me. I can tell you that already. I'm going to savor every piece of this. Rachel with a tip. Thank you very much, Rachel. Adam says 16 of 16 clues, though. Yeah, you're right. So who got the money? Rachel says, which interpretations of Sherlock have you watched? You know, funny thing is my first introduction to Sherlock Holmes as a child was not the books. It was a television show, or maybe it was a movie that I watched on television. and I don't remember the name of it, but it was a comedy. It was a spoof of Sherlock Holmes where Watson was the genius and the actor who played Sherlock Holmes was a bumbling fool. And I don't remember the name of the movie, but for years I thought that the real Sherlock Holmes story was that Watson was the true genius behind Sherlock Holmes because I had seen this comedy where Sherlock Holmes had been the bumbling fool. And then I got to the books and I was blown away. I was like, wait a minute. When does Watson walk in and solve the case? What's Sherlock Holmes doing solving all of these cases? I don't understand. Then I realized much later, and then I watched the BBC Sherlock series. I don't know if they've come out with new episodes, but I think the last one I watched was half a decade ago or something like that. Have they come out with new episodes since then? I mean, that's really all of the ones that I've seen. I've read the books. I saw that spoof movie when I was a kid, and then I watched the BBC version, and that's it. Parzival says, hey, Ox, have you watched the Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Friedman version of Sherlock Holmes and Enola Holmes from Netflix? I have, though it's been a while since I've seen an episode, and I don't know if they've updated it since then. All right, let's take a look at the Chronicle here. The Fate of Black Peter. Peter Carey was murdered by Patrick Cairns, a professional harpooner. Okay, so is this the same thing? Yeah. Okay, so these are our new tasks. Riddle on the rails, a late-night railway station, an incoming train, an impossible riddle. Holmes and Watson's return from holiday evolves into a tale of intrigue. So here we are on Baker Street. Do we not have the destination marked on our map? Where's Preston Garvey when you need him? My pipe is out, so I'm going to smoke a cigar. These pipes don't last long. At least not when I smoke them. Chimpanot, upgraded to Bronze Ox. Thank you very much, Chimpanot. Ranker says the Sherlock cat is called a deerstalker, by the way. Thank you for that one, Ranker. And then Jocelyn Ryan says the movie is without a clue. Had Ben Kingsley as Watson. That's it. Ben Kingsley. Now you're right. Man, I would have watched that now. It's been forever. All right, let's check our letters here. Now, Mycroft told us that he wrote us a letter, which we never answered, so I suppose we should read it. Come on. Is my good lighter actually working yet? Okay. The Strand. The grotesque murder of the former Captain Peter Carey, known in private as Black Peter, has been resolved. The evidence that Scotland Yard received from a trustworthy source was more than sufficient to conclude that the murderer of Peter Carey was Patrick Cairns, one of Carey's former harpooners. In fact, the dangerous criminal was caught single-handedly by brave Inspector Lestrade in hand-to-hand fight. Patrick Cairns is now sentenced to death.
This is where I keep my post.
That's the note that we got. I thought that we got a letter from Mycroft. He mentioned sending us a letter. All right, well.
My archive. I can always consult.
We could change outfits, but I like the outfit that I've got. Deerstalker hat and everything. Looks like I'm ready to go. Watson?
Holmes, please call a cab while I pack my suitcase. We shall be late for the train.
All right, is Sherlock still perving on the neighbors? Sherlock! God, guy. I can't even move the telescope. He's still perving on the neighbors. What's wrong with this guy?
Look after Mrs. Hudson for us, Toby.
I don't get it. Is that part of the books? In the books, is he a peeping Tom? Because I don't remember that part from the books. All right, let's go to the door. I bet that's what we need to do. Oh, map.
A map of London and the surrounding area. It could be useful. Watson, I'll hold a cab for us. We leave in 5 minutes for the station.
What a gloomy night. It was warmer inside the waiting hall.
Since the station master told us that the train is about to arrive, we should not have to wait very much longer.
Yes, at last.
Attention! The train is arriving at the station. Please stand well away from the platform edge.
I'll take your bags and your blasted archive suitcase.
Oh, he brought his archives with him? Awesome.
But, Holmes, the headlight. It's faded away.
Something is wrong. I can't hear any sound from the incoming train.
Excuse me, sir. Can you explain what has happened?
I don't know. It's as if the train vanished into thin air.
Holmes, say something.
Quick, fetch a lantern and let us take a look.
Uh-oh, is this Hounds of the Baskervilles or something?
It's too dark. Only fog and rails, nothing else.
There is no use in stumbling around here at night. We will come back tomorrow.
Douglas Delegard says, my comment on the last mission was to the morality, not the accusation. Yes, I understood that, Douglas. And thanks, it got me thinking. Solve the mystery of the vanished train. Okay, that's the only update we've got.
Well, here we are again at Evesham Station. We have a full day ahead. Let us begin our investigation.
Inspect the scene. Ranker says, I also recommend the adventure of Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother with Gene Wilder, Madeline Kahn, and Marty Feldman. Oh, man, now that's a cast. That's an all-star cast right there. Not the greatest, but entertaining. I haven't heard of that one, actually. And I'm a big Gene Wilder fan. Same with Marty Feldman, so I'll have to check that out. Okay, so let's inspect the train tracks. We probably need to go back the other way, not this way. Yep, that leads. All right, so move it. What? Why is it doing that? It's turning me around. I can't go too far. I guess I need to go inside. But I thought it said it wanted me to go to the tracks. Oh, there are the tracks. Doncaster to London. We were standing here looking that way, weren't we?
is the place where we saw the train vanish last night.
Railway sleepers. Nothing unusual. A discarded item, possibly thrown from the train. There are no tracks or footprints on the ground. Railway sleepers. Nothing unusual.
What? Okay, so if I go too far, it opens up the map. Here's the train coming. Disappears there. So then, why were those the only clues that we could find? Alright. Well, maybe there was something inside that we could find. Nope, we can't open that door.
First of all, let us examine the area where the train disappeared.
I was just there. Okay, we examined that. We examined that. We examined that. Would you stop? Oh, every time I move too far forward, it...
A discarded item, possibly thrown from the train. There are no tracks or footprints on the ground. Railway sleepers, nothing unusual. The rails have not been touched. There's nothing unusual here. There are no signs to indicate that the train ran off the track, nor are there any other traces. There is nothing whatsoever. There are no clues. But then, a negative result is also a result.
Oh, I see what you're getting at. No clues, and you're smiling.
Yes, Watson, I do smile on occasion. This mystery appears very promising. This investigation won't be simple. We shall require a map of the region.
Perhaps the station master could lend us one.
Okay. Alright, so that's what it wanted me to find. It wanted me to find that the tracks were still slick. No evidence of braking or a train recently being on them. Alright. So let's go get a map, Station Master.
Good morning. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson.
Yes, I remember you. I'm Station Master Everett. You were here last night. So, you are Mr. Holmes, the great detective. Will you be investigating what happened?
I shall indeed.
It is extraordinary that an entire train could disappear like that. And to think of all the poor people inside it, the passengers, the driver.
Do we have any missing people? Has anyone been reported missing? All right, let's see. Spots of earth. A wedding ring. Honorary badge. Fully gray hair.
Could you please give us any details about the train?
Well, there was nothing so very special about it. At least not that I can recall. My memory's not what it used to be. However, if you need it, you can have the train composition report. It's inside my office.
I would be glad to have a detailed map of the local railway district.
But of course, please, take the one that's pinned inside the waiting hall.
Okay.
See you
office
later, my good
and
man.
Waiting hall. This man is in his 60s, and he has been married for a long time. The fresh spots of earth upon his sleeves reveal a passion for gardening. His badge of Honorable Station Master reveals that he is a long-standing employee. All of this demonstrates his desire to live a quiet and stable life. Rachel says, I grew up watching an old UK TV series of Sherlock starring Jeremy Brent. Ran from mid-80s to mid-90s. In my opinion, the best classic interpretation. I'll have to check it out. I hope it's on Netflix. Alright, where is it? It's not going to be in here. This is mail. Ooh.
Railway post bags.
Right. And they're all empty. Not sure if that's significant. That's left luggage. Where are you going, Watson? Jeez. He's in a hurry.
Holmes, how is it even possible for a train to disappear?
Junk pile. Hello. Looks like the part of a clock.
An old locomotive bell. This part is probably from a locomotive. This place serves as a storage area for the station. This part is probably from a locomotive.
Okay. All right, well, we need to find his office. Maybe it's around over here. Ticket office. There we go. Message to all stations. Mr. Robinson is located at a Bridlington station.
A new telegram.
I think we should meet this Mr. Robinson.
Huh. Train composition. Line Nottingham to London. Type train liner number 324. Composition. Locomotive, coal car, first class car, postal wagon, special wagon, ordered by Mr. Robinson. Second class car.
Here is the train set.
What's in the special wagon? The vanished train was of the following composition. Everything that we just read. Okay, that's now a clue. And let's see. Now we need to find the map.
A telegraph.
There it is. No? That's not the map? Maybe it's in the waiting area. We can't get behind there. All right, let's go to the waiting area. I bet you that's where we're going to find a map. There it is.
This map will be useful.
A common map of this railway district that was found at Evesham Station. Rockland F says, oh, the bitter irony. The mechanics of smoking a real pipe does not translate to better in-game sleuthing skill. Oh, cruel world. Lol. Love Yox. Thank you, Rockland. It is bitter irony. All right, so we have unlocked dialogue now that we understand the train composition. So let's go talk to our chap. What was this special car?
According to the train composition report, there was a special wagon. What does that entail?
That's a highly secure car, ordered by a private party. It is generally to carry something of value. Those wagons have iron walls, you know, without any windows. And they're fitted with a complex key lock.
That is important information. Do you know what was inside this particular wagon?
Certainly not. No, that's private. And it's not my responsibility to allot the wagons to whoever.
Well, wait a minute. He told us when we first talked with him that he didn't recall anything particularly interesting about that train car. But then we bring up the special wagon. He's like, oh, yeah, iron walls, privately owned, valuables inside. Well, why didn't he mention that to begin with?
Was there anything exceptional about any of the passengers aboard the train?
What do you mean? Like officials? I wouldn't know. Oh, but now that you mention it, yes, there was something. There was a message from Bridlington station saying that the train had been delayed because of an issue with the passengers. But what kind of problem that they didn't say?
That is interesting.
Bridlington Station.
You mentioned a problem at Bridlington Station. I should like to visit this station. Could you mark it on the local map?
Of course. It's a suburban railway station. You might take a cab there.
See you later, my good man.
All right, now we can go to Bridlington Station. There it is. A drunk driver says, hey, Ox, it just occurred to me to ask what became of your stalwart turtle companion hat. Recently returned to watching you since the Ox movie days. Oh, he's off exploring the world. He went on vacation. Every now and then I get a postcard from him. He's just living his life the best turtle way possible. Oct Child says, Oxhorn, I finally made it to my first live stream. Love your videos, whether they're lore or playthroughs. Your passion for these games really shows. Thank you, my friend. Glad you made it. Hope for a good broadcast today. Rachel says the early seasons of Jeremy Brett Sherlock are on Amazon Prime. Many episodes seem to be on YouTube. I have my set of DVDs. Well, thankfully I do have Amazon Prime, so I'll have to check them out. Now, before we go to Bridlington, let's see. We need to get this at Bridlington. We need to meet what's his name to find out that. So 2 different places we need to go. Let's start by going to Bridlington.
This is an absolute scandal. It's always the same with these rail companies. No respect for the customer.
Work clothes. Cheap ticket. Rough skin. Married.
Please calm down, sir. What is your concern?
Concern? What is my concern? I'll tell you what my concern is. Last night I were on the train as usual with my colleague, heading home. Then along came this ridiculous ticket inspector, who started arguing that our tickets were invalid. He made us get off the train, and he was extremely rude about it.
Were you aboard the train that vanished last night?
Yes, I heard that it disappeared. But I don't care because we would have stopped before then anyway. Our tickets were valid and no doubt about it. And then, to top it all, the ticket inspector pushed everyone else out too, except for a bunch of rich. Well, because their type don't need a ticket.
Can you recall anything more specific about this fortunate group?
Well, yes. They were all foreigners. Spanish-looking toffs with snake eyes.
Goodbye, sir.
Interesting. There's our Mr. Robinson.
Good day to you, sir.
Good day. To whom am I speaking?
My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is...
Are you a representative of this damned railway company? Because I have a complaint.
We are not from the railway company. We are...
Well, in that case, Mr. Shamrock Flomes, please excuse me, but I'm not in the mood for idle chit-chat at the moment.
Okay, so he's very Australian. Australian hat. Expensive clothes. Fancy shoes. Crocodile skin. Heavy gold ring. A man of means.
You must be Mr. Robinson, is that correct?
Yes?
I am leading the investigation of the disappearing train. It would help if you could answer my questions.
Ah, well, all right. I have nothing to hide.
I presume it was you who placed the order for the special wagon.
Yes. It was to transport my valuable prototype safely to London. My prototype is a revolutionary device. It is capable of producing electricity. I'm a businessman and an engineer. I had already found several potential customers for my invention, but I was very optimistic about the directors' board who were travelling on the train last night.
You mentioned a director's board. Which company do they own?
The Chilean Barcazes Company. I had made an appointment with them. Now they are lost, along with the train and my prototype.
What do you know about the Barcazes Company?
It's a large South American company. They showed a great deal of interest in my prototype, and they seemed wealthy enough to do business with.
This revolutionary machine of yours, was it very valuable?
For God's sake, sir, it is priceless. It could change the world we live in, and yet I was selling it for almost nothing. I am a humanitarian, you see.
Sure.
I do not know if I will ever be able to get over this disaster. I cannot believe that it disappeared with that damned train.
Mr. Robinson, could you please clarify? Were you traveling alongside your prototype?
Yes, I was. But I had to step off the train. And all because of this stupid station master.
I received a telegram declaring that an important person, a Mr. Bromsby, wished to see you in the waiting room. I merely informed you of this.
Mr. Bromsby is a wealthy gentleman. His interest in my invention was truly unexpected. So yes, of course, I agreed to see him. Unfortunately, he wasn't there. I thought perhaps he might have been delayed, so I chose to wait a while. But despite my requests, the train left the station without me. Absolutely unacceptable.
The timetable is strict. We cannot wait any longer. The regulations require the train to be on time.
You are an idiot. You will pay for it. I will sue you.
The ticket inspector forced all the passengers from the train except for the directors of the Barcazes Chilean Company.
We've opened dialogue. So we should talk to this guy, if we can find him. Was he not standing right here? There he is.
Good day to you, gentlemen. How may I help you?
Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I am investigating the unfortunate disappearance of last night's train.
I see. I'm Station Master Bertram, but my supervisor has not informed me about this. I do not know if...
Do not worry. I have only a few questions.
Young age. Clean clothes. Instructions. Instructions to Station Master. He's new. He's wanting to follow all of the rules to impress his superiors. Ink smudges.
Station Master Everett from Evesham told us that you reported a problem with some passengers last night.
Indeed. This train is a regular line for those who work at Nottingham. But yesterday, everyone was asked to get off the train here at my station. I've no idea why, and it delayed the train. But the worst of it is that now I have to deal with 2 furious passengers who are complaining about the company's service. They stayed here the whole night, but people do not usually pay much attention to the regulations, you see. There are very strict and clear rules. Paragraph 234 of Article 2G-43 states that in the event of a complaint, you must...
Yes, thank you. I understand. Apart from the passengers disembarking, did you notice anything else that was unusual last night?
I did. And I mentioned it in my report to our higher management on the matter.
What was it?
Sorry, but I can't tell you. The station master's reports are confidential.
Confidential, you say? How long have you been working here?
I've worked here long enough to be quite capable of managing a railway station.
I mean, in his breast pocket, he's got a book, How to Manage a Railway Station.
Let me speak frankly, Mr. Bertram. Your age and your lack of confidence in your position are quite apparent. You cannot deny that you have only recently completed your studies.
I was at the top of my class.
Listen here, young man. I am aware that you wish to protect yourself behind all these regulations, but I represent the law.
And you are obstructing the investigation of an important case. I would suggest that you cooperate with Mr. Holmes. Think of your career.
Ah, that is... Well, I'll tell you everything.
Thank you.
First of all, I scolded the ticket inspector, for it was he who asked the passengers to leave the train. It was not his right to do so. He was very rude. And then, later on, I received a most peculiar telegram from my colleague at Chesterfield Station, the next stop along the line.
Well, we need to talk with the station master. Who was this guy that told everyone to get off the train, and where is he? But what was this message?
What did the telegram say?
Well, that was the peculiar thing. It was almost unreadable. It was full of errors and awfully vague. It was hard to understand if the train had correctly passed that station or not. You can read it for yourself.
Oh, great. We get to decipher.
We ought to visit
code.
Chesterfield Station. We need to confirm if the station master saw the train or not.
Telegram from Chesterfield Station. Chertifield, Railway, Etekcoin. Trendliner. Number 324, arriving at 0:30. Departed at 0:35. So either it's code, or it was written by one of the Brazilians, maybe. This unlocks new dialogue. The Chesterfield station master's report about the vanished train was full of errors and is barely readable. It is hard to understand if he confirmed that the train passed through his station or not. We have a number of new profiles. The station master of Bridlington is fairly young. He tries to keep his uniform clean and he is attentive to his duties. Fresh ink stains upon the fingers of his right hand indicate that this young man has been writing a great deal. It seems that he has almost completed his education, and this is his first serious post. By this passenger's hands and clothes, he appears to be a specialized worker. He has no baggage and is alone. He is not traveling, nor on vacation with his wife. He takes the train on a daily basis to get to work and back. In this event, he should be accustomed with the railway and be familiar with the stations and his regular fellow passengers. Robinson is a wealthy man who holds a high position in society, clearly indicated by his expensive clothes and golden ring. His Australian hat and crocodile shoes may allow us to deduce that he is a foreigner who traveled to England. Most likely he is here due to a business trip. And we've unlocked Chesterfield. We'll go there in a minute. We've got a brain palace that we can put together, but let me... Hello. A sheet of paper.
The insurance policy for Robinson's machine. A significant sum.
Ooh, are we dealing with an insurance scam? Hello. Insurance organized by Thomas L. Robinson for his prototype called the Autonomous Electricity Generator. This policy partially covers the loss of the prototype up to 50% of its value. Maximum cover amount, £15,000. Insurance duration, 1 year, renewable. Hello. At last we have a motive.
A telegraph.
The only reason we think it's a valuable machine is because Robinson himself has told us so, and yet he's the one who has taken out an insurance policy on it that he very clumsily lost. Here. What was it doing in here? Well, I think we should probably ask him about it. Robinson, got a question.
According to this document, you have insurance for your prototype.
Oh, thank God. Where did you find it?
Near the telegraph station.
I must have lost it when I tried to send a message, which I was prevented from doing.
I apologise for that, but regulations state that public access to the telegraph is strictly prohibited.
Upon my word, you keep on digging that hole of yours. You have no idea who I am.
Important grip sack? What's that?
I see that you kept your grip sack with you. Why don't you leave it in the luggage room?
I've had other things to think about. I lost my prototype. And this idiot station master just stands here doing nothing to help.
Oh, but...
Well, that won't do at all. Station master, I believe that the regulations state that any passenger luggage should be taken to the luggage room.
I'll do it right away, sir. Sorry, sir.
Hello.
This Robinson is quite a character. We should learn more about him.
By rummaging through his luggage. Can we talk with him more? Let's go through his luggage first. Left luggage. There it is.
This grip sack belongs to Mr. Robinson.
I think we should open it, Holmes. This is what they call force majeure. I'll keep watch.
Of course.
Oh, I hate these. I didn't like the last one. I don't like this one. All right. Ah. There we go. That wasn't so bad. I shouldn't be complaining. PC Gaming Goodies says, in the original Peter Carey story by Doyle, Cairns did steal the tin box, but Carey had already sold most of the bonds. Hence, Cairns remains poor. That explains it. Thank you. Business papers.
Look, Watson, a bundle of contracts. Very suspicious. We should study them carefully.
This is an exclusive sales contract regarding the prototype invention dedicated to appliance supplying electricity in an autonomous way. Emerson Electric Company, the buyer, understands that they are purchasing this device as is and are in agreement. Mr. Thomas L. Robinson, the seller, is not responsible for any problems that may arise with the prototype after the purchase, whether or not those issues were known by either party at the time of the purchase. The buyer is obligated to make prepayment in the amount of 10% of the prototype price in advance upon signing of the contract. The remainder should be transferred within a 1-month term, and it looks as if it has already been signed.
Mr. Robinson is the seller. An exclusive sales contract.
This is an exclusive sales contract regarding the prototype invention dedicated to appliance supplying electricity in an autonomous way. No, you're joking. He didn't. He sold it to multiple people. Hong Kong General Electric Company, the buyer, understands that they are purchasing this device. It's the same thing, but to a new buyer.
Yet another exclusive sales contract. Mr. Robinson is the seller.
He sold it to too many people. He got the down payment from all of these different guys, and then he's doing an insurance scam. Here we go again.
Yet another exclusive sales contract.
Barcazas Chilean Company is this buyer.
Mr. Robinson is the seller.
So then maybe it's a bit more insidious, because they were on the train and they disappeared.
Yet another exclusive sales contract.
To Medicine General Electric.
Mr. Robinson is the seller. Well, it is very clear that this Mr. Robinson received prepayments from various people for his machine. Railway post bags.
And had it insured. But just because he's a crook, and now we know he's a crook, doesn't mean he is responsible for the disappearance of the train, though at the moment he is our most likely suspect. I wonder if he would own up to any of it. Would you move, Watson, please?
I will not move from here until I receive my refund.
And we can't talk with him about it any further. Right. We need to find the Chesterfield station manager to find out exactly why his message was riddled with typos. And that requires going to Chesterfield station. We're at Bridlington right now, right? We went from Evesham to Bridlington. Now we need to go to Chesterfield. But before we do, let's give this station the once-over. The full Sherlock Holmes once-over. Can we talk with this fine guy? Hello. No. Can't open the gate. Just covering my bases here. Next we'll go across the street before moving on to Chesterfield. What's this now? Bridlington. Oh, we can't get up in there, can we? Move it, Holmes! Or Watson. Okay, Bridling or Chesterfield. Can we make a couple of deductions now? We can. Okay. Prototype has insurance. Prototype has many customers. The Chilean's stay on the train was just a coincidence. The train conductor overlooked them. The directors of the Chilean Barcazas company were intentionally left on the train. The controller removed all passengers from the train except the Chileans. The loss of the prototype will bring a lot of easy money to Mr. Robinson thanks to the insurance and multiple fraudulent exclusive contracts. That's one motive, but we've got more evidence. There we go. Or Robinson is a victim. The loss of the machine is a disaster for Mr. Robinson. Even though he planned this fraud, he has lost far more than he could gain. The insurance will not cover the total cost of the prototype. True, but he's got his bases covered. Thanks to that. Chesterfield telegram. No traces of the train. No. So we still don't have enough information to piece together something there. All right, let's get more from Chesterfield.
This bin is full of empty bottles.
A telegraph.
Morse code alphabet.
I had thought that all station masters knew the Morse code, but apparently not.
Someone needed a reminder. So it was someone who was inexperienced with Morse code who sent the message, thus all of the errors.
How could he fall asleep at work like this? Excuse me, sir. Wake up. Ah, his breath. He must have swallowed half a distillery.
And that explains the how.
By his sleeping off the alcohol, you mean? Wake up, please, sir.
What? The 18-hour 72 train has arrived?
Good day to you. We are investigating the disappearance of last night's train, and we should like to ask you a few questions.
Red nose. Loves his booze. Clean clothes. Fishing line. Married. Ooh, hip flask.
Were there any passengers who got off that particular train at your station last night?
No, nobody, it seems to me. Although I did not leave my office, so...
No doubt you were very busy.
You don't say. You can't ever get any peace around here. Now you have to send a telegram each time a train arrives and departs.
They're really laying it on thick, giving him hiccups and everything.
Station Master Bertram from Bridlington showed me a strange telegram that he received from you last night. It concerned the train, but it was barely comprehensible.
What? He's a fastidious little twerp, that Bertram. I remember everything quite clearly. It was late, and I was tired, but I did my work. So what? There's no need to be so petty.
How could he clearly remember that train if the wastebasket is filled with booze?
You were not tired, you were inebriated. Tell me the truth now, or I shall not hesitate to document your state in my report.
My friend means that you will end up by being sacked from your position.
All right. So I was drunk. I don't remember all of yesterday, to be truthful to you. Please don't go harsh on me.
Holmes, this man has consumed a considerable amount of alcohol. He's not entirely helpless yet, but...
It will not be long before he is. Obviously, his testimony cannot be trusted.
Ah, will I ever get any peace?
The Chesterfield station manager is addicted to alcohol. The hue of his face, and his nose in particular, can confirm this without any doubt. His wife takes good care of him in spite of this. He is lazy, distracted, and obviously not in a position to perform his duties well. Chesterfield Railway Station should be carefully examined. So maybe somebody knew that he was a drunk. Maybe they knew that this was a ripe opportunity to sabotage the train because this guy was hopeless. Let's go to baggage.
Locked. There is no sense in asking the station master to open it. We shall have to pick the lock.
Oh, great. This again. Lovely. All right. There we go. Ooh, what's this?
These tools were used quite recently. They are still muddy. We should ask about them. Bags were recently dragged here.
Hello.
French wine, a remarkable vintage. These bottles are too expensive for a station master's wage. They were likely taken from the parcels.
Shameful.
Railway post bags.
Did somebody bury a train? That's a lot to try to bury in one night. How is that even possible? Burying an entire train in one night? Yumet Scuba says, just became a silver ox. Thank you very much, Yumet. Check the warehouse. What's this? Oh, a large tree. Bernard Francis says, "Hey there, Ox. Don't catch you live much anymore, but I wanted to show some appreciation for the replays since I caught them live. Keep up the good work." Thank you, Bernard. Yep, that's one thing I love about YouTube. The replays are always available. Hey, look at this. Looks like something you could put on a track, maybe with a light to pretend that it's a real big train.
A handcar wheelbase. Interesting. It appears that elements of the same construction were scattered everywhere. Watson, please tell me, do you believe in magic?
Of course not, Holmes.
Then you are of the opinion that a train cannot simply disappear.
Well, we both know that that is obvious. Why are you asking such peculiar questions?
A little patience, Watson. You will understand my point quite soon. So, are you quite certain that you saw the train at Evesham station?
Yes, of course. We saw it coming. The headlights, and heard the whistle.
But that is it. We didn't see the train itself.
But... Oh, Holmes, I'm a little confused.
But we're not. The dismantled handcar seems directly connected to our mystery. Reconstruct the handcar to see if it can imitate the vanished train. Okay. Fake train experiment. Small gear housing. Small gear. Wooden base.
I should use the appropriate object here.
Oh, right. Wheel. Wheel. Can I get it over there?
I should use the appropriate object here. I should use the appropriate object here.
Brakes.
I should use the appropriate object here.
All right, they go between the tires, right? Well,
I should use the appropriate object here. I should use the
shut
appropriate
up!
object here.
God.
I should use the appropriate object
It's
here.
gonna keep doing this. Oh. Oh, I see. What are we missing? We're missing a light. Is that it? 4 wheels, brakes, hand joint mechanism. I mean, it's working, but we need the light. However, I don't see a light sitting out. No? Okay, what are we missing? I've got it correct, as I can't take any part out, but I'm missing a part.
I should use the appropriate object here.
Something that goes on the wooden base. Left side. Oh, wooden boards. Oh my gosh. I thought they were part of the floor. Yeah. Oh, come on. Wooden base. Wooden boards. Let me put it. Come on, let me put it on the wooden base. Oh, now I just gotta find the appropriate slot. There. Jeez.
So, now here we have the fake train that we saw approaching Evesham station last night.
Doesn't look much like a train to me.
Be patient, Watson. I haven't finished yet. Try using your imagination. Our train requires only a headlight and a steam whistle.
Well, we saw a headlight in here.
I need something long for the headlight to be attached.
Okay, something long. Ah. Long pole. Fire extinguisher. Am I gonna need all of this, or some of it extra? So to set up our ruse, oh, we can pump fire extinguisher through the whistle. Place the long pole.
The long pole is now attached. It will allow us to connect the headlight.
Connect the headlight.
The headlight is attached.
Install the steam whistle.
The steam whistle is now connected.
Holmes, what can we do to make the steam whistle work?
It is elementary, my dear Watson. We shall need a fire extinguisher.
Bingo!
The fire extinguisher. Now let us see what we have here. First of all, let us pump the pressure inside the extinguisher. The steam whistle is ready to be used. Watson, I do believe that we have created an exact replica of the train that vanished in front of us last night. The criminal mind can be most inventive. I am somewhat in awe.
So such a thing is possible. If someone went to all the trouble of creating this fake train, then it was surely with the intention of stealing the real one.
Ah, Watson, you should not jump to conclusions. In fact, this does not tell us very much at all, except that the train did not evaporate into thin air.
Although you half suspected it.
At any rate, we now need to find where the real train might be hidden. I suggest we use my archives to find a more detailed map of our surroundings.
Well, I hope that justifies our having to load your massive archive suitcase onto the cab. It made us extremely unpopular with our driver.
All right. The train never reached Evesham. It disappeared earlier and was faked by somebody using a handcar and spare train parts from Chesterfield Station. The train passed through Chesterfield Station despite our being unsure if the station master sent the report, or the train never passed through Chesterfield Station. The station master was drunk and his testimony seems unreliable. He could have sent the report without witnessing the train. Okay, so that's a spot for all of our clues. I'm not sure if it's the right spot just yet. Let's go to the archives. Okay, where's the cab? On the other side of the waiting hall.
Now we have two maps. We must combine them properly.
Oh, great. Ah! Oh, it's so squiggly. Come on. The lake hasn't moved. I just need to stop moving. Oh, God.
Here it is. There is a side branch to the railway. Its first switch is located between Bridlington and Chesterfield stations. There is
Bingo.
one more station to be visited. It is located between Chesterfield and Evesham, and there should be a side railway to the nearby quarry. There is a small section of a railway at the end of Evesham station.
Where do you hide a missing train? In a giant quarry. All right, examine the side railway branch that begins at the railway station. Examine the side railway branch that leads to the quarry at the station located between Chesterfield and Evesham. Examine the side railway branch at Evesham. Lots of options. Oh, let's talk about the tools. That's right, we can talk with this guy about the tools. Hey, buddy. What you need all those tools for?
You have quite a number of dirty tools lying around here.
Ah, yes. Well, thank you for reminding me. I should clean them. Although, might be easier to put them outside. Seems it might start raining soon.
So
I
lazy.
meant, what were they used for?
Some workers come here and borrowed them from me. They wanted to lift the edge of the railway to one of the stations on the line, so that the water wouldn't come in too close.
Who were these workers?
Well, they didn't seem to be from the company, but they was fine lads. They invited me to share a drink.
Of course they did.
And whatever it was, it had a kick to it. They wasn't English. No, I don't believe so. But see, they knew just what a man needed to brighten up his dull evening.
Let's start by going to the Evesham railway branch. There's a side passage here. Oh, he's reading crime and punishment. Love it. Okay. Are these the fine lads? No. You can't go that way.
The entire train has disappeared. It's a disaster.
Ah. So there was a shack here. Could this earth have been moved recently?
There was a building here not so long ago.
But I don't understand, Holmes. Why would anyone destroy the shed in such a manner?
It was disassembled in great haste. It is most odd.
Okay, the tooltip keeps popping up with the eye icon. Here we go.
Traces. Let's take a closer look. Nothing interesting here. Nothing interesting here. Nothing interesting here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the width.
Nothing interesting here.
Come on.
The distance between the tracks is about 6 feet 7 inches. The vehicle would have been heavy, as these tracks are quite deep. These traces are relatively fresh and were made by a large truck loaded with materials.
There is a disassembled warehouse near Evesham and deep tracks left by a large truck with a base of around 6 feet 7 inches that was most likely transporting materials. Horse prints and a smaller set of drag tracks.
This road should lead to the town of Evesham.
Well, I suppose we can go ask the station master about both this shack, why it was destroyed, and exactly what was carried out of it. was a small crane.
It appears that there was a small warehouse near your station and that it was disassembled. Why is that?
It was burgled overnight about 2 weeks ago. The police have already started their investigation, but I doubt that they'll find anything.
What was inside the warehouse?
Nothing of value. A few 100 feet of standby rails and some spare railway parts. But it wouldn't be easy to steal all of that. Why would anyone want to?
To build a track
See you later, my good man.
into a quarry or somewhere where they could hide a train. Okay, now we need to examine the side railway branch that begins at the railway switch. And then examine the branch that leads to the quarry. The switch, that was down here, wasn't it? Christina says, I have 8 settlements with the Minutemen and did the castle, but Garvey keeps giving me side quests. How do I get them to attack the Institute? Love you, Ox. Garvey will continue to give you Radiant quests even after the game. That's just the nature of it. You become a Minuteman, you get the settlements, you get never-ending Radiant quests from Garvey to help the settlements. There comes a point where you can work with the Minutemen to assault the Institute, but you have to build the transponder. No, it's right after Green Tech Genetics. After you get the chip inside the Courser head, you have to work with Sturges and Preston to build the teleportation machine at one of your settlements, and then later on you'll have the option to work with them to infiltrate the Institute. If instead you go with the Brotherhood, I don't think you get that option later. Now, there was a switch over here, wasn't there? Oh, no, this isn't a switch.
Railway sleepers. Nothing unusual. There are no tracks or footprints on the ground. The rails have not been touched. There's nothing unusual here.
Oh, that's the railway switch. All right, so we'll go there.
The switch is rusted, but it still works.
Mines.
Mines. This is interesting. It would be quite possible for someone to redirect the train towards the mines.
Examine the mines and find out if it's possible to hide a train there. That I can do. Oh, we have to teleport there. All right.
Here are the mines, Holmes. They appear to be abandoned.
But where do the tracks come in? Oh, hello.
The distance between the tracks is about 4 feet 8 inches. A lightly loaded vehicle came this way.
Okay, so it's not heavy.
There is a wooden beam lying on the rails. A small vehicle with wooden beams went down this way.
So they needed wood to board something up. This is where they came from.
This mine has completely collapsed, Holmes.
It is curious, but to be truthful, I am not entirely surprised.
It's difficult to follow you, Holmes.
Empty place, traces on the ground, missing rails. Screws.
Someone removed these screws, most probably to take down the rails. A few feet of the rails have been dismantled.
So someone needed to build a new railway track. They stole railway tracks from the Evesham station. They came down here and stole tracks from the abandoned mine. Collapsed mine, pile of stones. Paper package. Hello. Strange box. Box paper.
This is an unusual kind of paper, stiff and dry. It was used for a specific purpose. Let us look
Blasting.
inside.
Explosives. No.
Sawdust. I am almost certain it is a... Watson, could you assist, please? Do you have your pistol? Good. Fire at this package.
I was right. Explosives.
Dynamite.
I don't think I have enough yet. The mines were collapsed to hide the train. Dynamite was used after the train was moved inside. The mines were collapsed with dynamite. Somebody wanted to close them intentionally. I mean, the train could be there. Or it could be in the quarry, which we haven't visited yet. We need to go there to figure out what they needed at the quarry. That perhaps will help us finish solving this puzzle. Mine guards. Metal box.
This box must be the safe. Let's open it.
Yay, another one of these. Bingo.
The Mexican company Caracal and the Chilean Barcazas both want to buy the mines. I need more information. Perhaps Mycroft could help.
New security instructions. New instructions to all Way Coal security personnel. We inform you that representatives of the Barcazas Group are granted free access from now on. This company is the future owner of the mines. Also, starting from today, a no trespassing rule is upheld against any representatives of the Carkle Consortium. The preliminary contract of sale has been canceled. Do not provide any explanation. This information is confidential. Mexicans versus the Chileans. Somebody stole the rails to temporarily cover the missing section of the railway into the mines. The train is sealed underneath the collapsed mines. We need to go to the quarry, and we need to talk with Mycroft. Looks like nothing in this one. Use the telegraph to discover more about the WEA Coal Company.
This suitcase contains my archives. We can consult...
Okay. So we need to go to the telegraph. First, let's go to station. See if we can explore the quarry. Where's he going?
A funny character. He looks anxious.
Cuban.
This scent is familiar to me, but in order to recognize it, I must combine my associations into one picture.
Oh, great, this one. My favorite.
A greenish-brown cigar with a strong aroma, a hint of peppermint. Ricardo.
You already know the name of this man? Holmes, you amaze me.
No, Watson, I refer to the cigar. It is a Ricardo Turrent, a Mexican cigar of an excellent quality. Quite an expensive one, too.
So, not Cuban. Okay. Ashtray right there, and what does he do? He throws it on the ground. Oh.
This ashtray is full of ash and cigar stubs.
Piece of burnt paper.
Apparently, there was a conflict between the Mexicans and the Chileans. This ashtray is full of ash and cigar stubs. A greenish-brown cigar with a strong aroma, a hint of peppermint. These ashes and cigar stubs are similar to the one that we found on the floor. Some of the stubs were recently smoked. There are others that appear fairly old.
That means that the fellow spent several days here. Judging by his clothes, he's hardly a traveller or a tramp.
Well concluded, my dear fellow. A man who smoked the Ricardo brand of Mexican cigar spent several long days at Doncaster Station.
Right. We need to talk to the suspicious man. The suspicious man at Doncaster Station was smoking Ricardo Turrent, expensive Mexican cigars of excellent quality. He has spent at least the last few days here. Toxic Sean says, good morning, Oxhorn and Chad. I hope you're well. Doing very well, my friend. Glad to have you on the program today. Horse Racing Magazine.
Newspaper articles on horse racing. Hurdle, steeplechase, and flat racing. He is a true enthusiast, Holmes.
Tickets.
Betting slips for horse racing. The sums are quite impressive.
It can be an expensive vice. This man had probably used all his savings.
Jeez. We got a drunk and a gambler working these train stations.
A telegraph. I asked Mycroft to find out some information on the WEA Coal Company. Here is his reply, and it is an interesting one.
There are two companies, the Chilean Barcazas and the Mexican Carcal. Both wanted to purchase the WEA coal mines. The Mexican Carcal consortium had established an initial deal and had prepared all of the papers. However, the Chilean Barcazas group, aided by their influential connections, managed to snatch the concluding deal for the mines. The Mexicans held no grudge against the Chileans. Business is business, after all. Doubt that. Hey, there we go. If we remove the possibility that he was in on it, we suddenly get a few more connections. The Chileans made the train vanish in order to steal the prototype from Mr. Robinson. The Chileans' stay on the train was just a coincidence. The train conductor overlooked them. That can't be possible. It was intentional. But there couldn't possibly be no grudge either. So we don't have enough evidence. That doesn't connect. We need more evidence first.
Holmes, look. There's a flooded area over here.
I believe that the flooded area might be worth checking.
Well, examine the side railway branch that leads to the quarry at the station. Well, we haven't been there yet. Unless that's what it is. This is where we were.
Railway post bags. This post bag belongs to the station master.
A letter to lawyer. Corwell Advocate Agency, Main Road, Bromley, London. In reply to your last warning letter, I wish to assure you that I shall soon honor all of the latest installments that I need to pay according to my debts. Yours faithfully, Edward Duff. Okay, Edward hired a lawyer, but has had a hard time paying. For what reason did he hire the lawyer? Letter to wife.
The station master appears to have found himself in some financial trouble.
7 Alpine Street, Basford, Nottinghamshire. My darling, I ask you to trust me this time. I shall soon have more than enough money to repay the house mortgage. It's only a matter of days. You may continue living in the house without me, since that is your wish. Please know that I still care about you and hope that you will forgive me one day, despite all of the harm I have caused in recent years. Yours, Edward. Ooh, so this is how they got a hold of a guy on the inside. Well, we find him sitting outside. There he is. Let's go have a chat. First, shall we inspect the warehouse?
Watson, would you like some tea?
No.
This is usually where they like to put loose floorboards, but I'm not seeing any right now. All right, let's talk to our guy.
Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. John Watson. We are investigating the case of the vanished train.
Is that so? Well, good day, gentlemen. I am Mr. Duff, the station master of this station. I'll be happy to help you in any way I can, but there's not much that I can tell you about last night.
Melancholy. No watch. Station master always has a watch. Missing button. Oh. Ring mark.
It appears that you may be at risk of some flooding along the line here.
You mean that the whole bloody lake is at our feet?
Quite so. But it is strange, because according to my map, there should be a quarry here, and behind that, the lake.
How should I know? I only arrived here a few months ago.
And where did you work before that?
I was working in Nottingham, but I asked for a quieter place, so they transferred me here. Life is cheaper. I can't really complain.
Did any passengers leave or board the train last night?
No. I saw no one as usual. I reported the train's passage by telegraph, just the same as all the other nights.
I observe that you are a gambling man, Mr. Duff. You had hoped that your relocation to this small town might have helped ease your addiction, but it was not to be.
I beg your pardon? Addiction to what?
Well, horse racing tickets.
We found a number of horse racing tickets inside your office. Well, we all have our weaknesses. An expensive obsession, surely, for a station master.
It is none of your business. I occasionally attend the races with my colleagues. And anyway, that's my private life.
There was a gentleman of Mexican origin, I believe, in the waiting room. Did you notice him?
What? A Mexican? Here in the back of beyond? Are you quite sure about that?
Goodbye, sir. It is obvious that we cannot inspect the quarry. Instead, we can check the beach area around the flooded lake. Watson, it seems that both South American companies were involved in the purchase of the mine.
The man at Doncaster who fled our approach, he smokes Mexican cigars. Perhaps...
Yes, Watson. We should certainly speak with him.
All right, talk to the cigar smoker. I feel like we missed something in that conversation. Well, let's see if we can find the other guy. Where would he be? Oh, that's his cottage. That's gonna bring us to a dead end. We can't get any further into the lake from there. Ah!
This railway branch should lead to the quarry. Let us take a look. The rail is rusted and looks old, but the railway is still usable.
More missing tracks.
The railway ends here. That is strange.
Okay, so clearly more track was scavenged from this section. We see the imprints here, but it's not letting us talk about it. Oh my God, Watson.
The railway ends here. That is strange.
But why is it not letting us mention the impression? I mean, the track was stolen, just like at all the other spots. All right, well, let's see if we can find the other guy.
Please, sir, we would ask you not to leave. We have some questions.
Are you the police?
No, we are employed by the railway company. We are collecting witness statements about the train that disappeared last night.
Lo siento, I'm in a hurry.
Really? It seemed that you were waiting here for someone. Could you tell us if you were at the station last night?
No, I just arrived from South America.
A formidable journey, no doubt. Which country are you from?
De Chile.
Smart clothes. Strong build. Martial arts? How could he? What? Is it the pattern of the veins on his hands? Expensive cigar. Wrinkles.
Chile? But you are Mexican.
No, you are wrong. Why would you think I'm Mexican?
Because of your cigars.
Sí, cigarrillos. So what?
Those cigars are the Ricardo brand, from Mexico. It is quite impossible to find them anywhere but there.
Pero not your business.
I don't suppose that you are on vacation. What business brought you here?
I was to meet my fellow compañeros, who were due to arrive yesterday. They were on that damn train. I will stay here and hope that the authorities find them, or their bodies. It's now my responsibility to repatriate them.
Who authorized you to do that?
The company I work for.
Could you tell me the name of the company?
It's not your concern.
And what is your name?
Enough questions. Buenas tardes.
Not a very friendly man, and he is lying. He said that he just arrived, but we know that he has been here for several days.
Fanta says, I would interact with the red arrow by the tracks. Thank you, Fanta. The train passed through Doncaster Station. The station master reported it. The train never passed through Doncaster Station. The station master lied and sent a false report. Perhaps he was bribed with the money he desperately needed. The Chileans stole the prototype. The Chileans stole the prototype and sealed the train underneath the collapsed mines to hide their crime. The Chileans stole Robinson's prototype for financial gain. Who knows what they might do next? Contact Lestrade and allow the police to perform their loud and swift justice, even at the risk of international conflict. Or political game. A criminal organization such as this cannot be confronted directly. It requires a delicate approach. Give Mycroft the chance to resolve the conflict, even though it might be protracted and turn to his own advantage. Continue the investigation. We still have a few connections we haven't made, though. There we go. This is what I wanted. This is unlikely. However, the Mexicans are angry. That's much more likely. The Mexican Carousel Company held a grudge against the Chilean Barcazas group, as the Chileans were favored for purchasing the WEA coal mines despite the Mexicans' preliminary sales contract. The Mexicans organized the Chileans stay on the train. That is why the controller removed all of the passengers except the Chileans. But then what's this? Ooh, hold on. We'll continue. The loss of the prototype will bring a lot of easy money to Robinson, thanks to the insurance and multiple fraudulent exclusive contracts. Does that change? No, it goes off in a completely different... So that's incidental. This only works if he's the victim. But these connect to that. These connect to that. The Mexicans' inhumanity towards the Chileans has cost many lives. We must act quickly, contact Lestrade, and allow the police to perform their loud and swift justice, even at the risk of international conflict, or a criminal organization such as this cannot be confronted directly. It requires a delicate approach. Give Mycroft the chance to resolve the conflict, even though it might be protracted and turned to his own advantage. We still have a few more clues. Flooded quarry does not connect to the stolen rail track. So let's see if we can... we can't remove that. It automatically connects there. See if there are any more people we can talk to. Inspect the beach area around the lake. I did that and there was nothing there. Examine the side railway branch that leads to the quarry at the station located between Chesterfield and Evesham. I mean, I tried that and there was nothing at either location. We'll try again. Maybe now that we've talked with this guy, something will turn up. Fonta says, I would interact with the red arrow by the tracks. Okay, we'll try that. So, we came here. This is the beach area. Nothing. All right, let's try your theory.
The switch is rusted, but it still works.
Oh, that completes the step. The train could have been sunk in the flooded quarry at Doncaster Station. The train cannot be sunk in the flooded quarry because the old railway that leads there is missing some rails. Well, that's true. Unless the rails were removed after. Wow, that messes everything up. We've got to figure out the rails situation. Because if it's not sunk here, so ultimately it depends on the fate of the train. If the train is sunk in the quarry, then the Mexicans did it. If the train is in the mine, then the Chileans did it. Or it's a big insurance scam. I mean, it could be all of that. Well, why is that not... Inspect the beach area around the lake. This is the beach area around the lake. Why is there nothing here? Okay, maybe now that I've, there was the bubbling.
The railway ends here. That is strange.
Maybe now that I've tripped the, flag, I can inspect the bubbling. Oh, it's a new location. Oh, that's why. The station master of Doncaster is in a depressed state. He may be recently divorced, owing to the mark left by the ring on his ring finger. His clothes are untidy, and it appears that he finds his single life quite difficult. His master's watch is missing. It could be lost or stolen or even pawned if he is in desperate need of money. Then there's this guy. Judging by the expensive brand of this man's cigars and the clothes that he wears, we may conclude that he is financially wealthy. The strong smell of tobacco surrounds him, and his breathing is harsh, indicating that he has been smoking heavily for the past few days. The backs of his hands are red and calloused, the sign of a man who is well practiced in the martial arts. Okay. Well, so this is a completely different section we now need to explore. Let me get a new cigar.
Here we are at the beach that is located near the quarry and Doncaster Station. It doesn't look like a very good place to rest. These traces were made by a carriage. Look. The vehicle pressed this stone into the ground. It would have been quite heavy.
That's it. The tracks at the mine were lighter. It had been carrying wood. It couldn't have been carrying metal needed to build tracks.
The distance between the tracks is about 6 feet 7 inches. The vehicle would have been heavy, as these tracks are quite deep. These traces are relatively fresh and were made by a large truck loaded with materials. The traces found at the disassembled shed near Evesham and at the lake were from the same vehicle.
Somebody stole the rails to temporarily cover the missing section of the old railway to the flooded quarry. Somebody stole the rails to temporarily cover the missing section of the old railway into the mines. No, they came here. Railway to quarry, which means it can't have been a Mexican trap. Chileans made the train vanish in order to steal the prototype from Mr. Robinson?
An advertisement for lake cruises.
It looks very old. Is that blood?
This place was abandoned fairly recently.
A gypsy camp?
Observing the coastline and the moored boats, we are able to see that the lake's water level dropped. The lake has flooded the quarry. The dam was probably breached.
Las Zarpas, or Zarpas.
A label with the name Las Zarpas.
What? What? I'm gonna have to look it up in my archives, aren't I? Okay, newspapers, encyclopedias. Art and architecture. Economic science. Technology. Las Zarpas, barge transportation. The Las Zarpas barges are leaders in heavy goods transportation. The Las Zarpas label belongs to the Mexican consortium, Carcal, who covers shipping, electricity services, and mining.
Here it is.
It was placed in a barge. The Mexicans had recently utilized barges at the lake, probably to transport something heavy. Which means... somebody stole the rails. To temporarily cover the missing section of the old railway into the flooded quarry. Well, if it passed through Chesterfield, so what accounts for the barge? Well, this is no longer possible. Plus, we need all of the people. So we have all the evidence. We now need to solve the mystery. So a Mexican barge came here to the quarry. We know the train came to the quarry because the tracks are heavier. So basically we have to decide, was the Doncaster guy bribed? Can we believe the drunk? But it couldn't have been. It hasn't been sunk. So we're having a hard time connecting the barge. Somebody stole the rails to temporarily cover the missing section of the railway into the mines. No, we know that they covered it into the quarry. But could the train conductor have just overlooked them? Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that. Yeah, I had a brief internet disconnection, but it appears to have reconnected correctly. I should be back. So they're just not connecting. So it must have passed through Chesterfield. Accident. Okay, so we think he's the victim. At least I think he is now. The Mexicans are angry. The train couldn't have been sunk because we found the barge. It's the barge thing that's messing it all up. If it hadn't been for the barge, it could have been sunk. But we found the barge, therefore it couldn't have been sunk. We know that it went onto a barge, and that's why we're not finding the train anywhere. But the Robinson victim one is now... Fanta says maybe it's both Ox. It could be sunk and we would never know. Yeah, but why would they have the barge there? If they were just going to sink it... Oh, so that they could transport the device. Oh. Oh. Oh my God, that opens everything up. That connects everything. Ah. I was thinking they had to put the train on the barge, but of course they wouldn't take the train on the barge. They don't want the train. They wanted what was on the train. The invention, the device. Everything lines up. Except that one. But it doesn't matter because he didn't do it. He's the victim. That's why it doesn't connect. The Mexicans drowned the Chileans. It was carefully planned murder. The Mexicans killed the Chileans and sank the train in the flooded quarry to hide their crime. So we've got two options. Blind justice. The Mexicans' inhumanity towards the Chileans has cost many lives. We must act quickly, contact Lestrade, and allow the police to perform their loud and swift justice, or a criminal organization such as this cannot be confronted directly. It requires a delicate approach. Give Mycroft the chance to resolve the conflict, even though it might be protracted and turn to his own advantage. If it were a local issue, I would give it to Lestrade, but it's not. This is now an international issue. So we're going to give it to Mycroft.
Then the case is solved, Holmes. What do you intend to do?
Well, I shall require assistance for the arrests. There were accomplices.
Ah, but I know that look. You have your own ideas. What are they, Holmes?
On the one hand, we have the local constabulary and advice from our friend Lestrade. The problem we have there is that the authorities seem to be incapable of acting quietly. They rely on brute force. It could result in an international scandal. Our other option is Brother Mycroft and his tedious political games. He will locate the guilty parties without any trouble, but it will be a long and drawn-out process, and possibly with some compromise that will be to Mycroft's benefit. But I think I'd prefer to give Mycroft a chance. We should overlook our personal differences on this occasion.
Let us go home, then. I'd like to begin writing a draft of this story.
I did not say that we had finished here yet.
Well, all right. What did I miss?
Watson, we know that the Barcazas Company directors were drowned in the flooded quarry, along with the train and Robinson's prototype. But we still need to corner the guilty party.
But how do you intend to prove... Oh, no. Please don't tell me we have to dive into the lake.
You may rest assured that I have a far better idea. We have only to use our corrupt Doncaster station master as bait. He will unwittingly trap our Mexican friend.
Of course, you already had a plan. I shall follow you, Holmes.
Unless I got it all wrong, in which case, prepare to get embarrassed.
Well, the case is solved, and we shall be heading home. May we have 2 tickets to London, please?
Right away. Wait a minute. You've solved the case?
In a manner of speaking. Can you believe that the rescue service miraculously saved one of the Chileans who were on board the train? The police have ordered his immediate escort to London on the next train.
He pulled through, then? He's alive?
Yes, by extreme good fortune. His condition is quite serious, and the method of transportation has its risk, but he will be held securely by the doctor and police officers. The gentleman carries some vital information on this case. I am sure of it.
Oh, sneaky.
Really? Your station will be famous, Mr. Duff. The journalists will be here before you know it. Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
And there it comes. It's all coming together. Just as we
Gentlemen,
decipher.
you are under arrest.
Caramba! You traitor! You double-crossed me!
Got it. Ha!
Good shot, Watson. I always knew you were a talented marksman.
I didn't want another life lost in this case, Holmes.
Oh my God! I thought I was a dead man.
You shouldn't be so glad about it. You'll be up before the judge.
Your testimony will be of great importance to the investigation. I would remind you that your cooperation will be the best way to ease your sentence. By the way, Watson, would you be so kind as to give me some shooting lessons later on?
Yes, but not in our sitting room, and not with you wearing a blindfold.
Okay, now for the final answer, how well did I do? It was a carefully planned murder. Oh, so it's too long to actually fit the screen. It gets cut off. But I found 23 clues. I chose that the Mexicans drowned the Chileans. It was a political game. Did I get it right? Yes! I got all the clues. I got the correct conclusion. But it's not telling me how many other players got it. Hold to check your conclusion. Mexicans drowned the Chileans. We got it. Let's accept the decision. Yes. Oh, here we go. Case statistics. What percentage solved the case the same way? It's thinking. 70% solved it the same way. Wow. And 62% made the same choice. They went with Mycroft instead of going with Lestrade. So in this instance, I'm with the majority. Personality ranking neutral. And we continue. Whew, man, I feel exhausted after that one. And I have less than an hour left. We're not going to get very far into this next case. But let's try it anyway.
Holmes, what happened?
I feel deathly.
And you look it. Let me examine you. Please don't tell me that you've returned to your old habits.
Opium. Or is it heroin? I forget what it is.
The pupil is dilated. The temperature appears to be normal. I need to concentrate and count the heartbeats.
Ugh, really?
I need to concentrate and count the heartbeats. A weak pulse, around 50 beats per minute. But you're dying, Holmes. Your pulse rate is dropping. We need to get you to the hospital immediately.
The antidote. Give it to me.
The antidote?
Did he poison
You mean
himself?
that you're poisoned?
Now. Please.
Here, drink it all. Don't tell me that you did this to yourself.
Hemlock and datura. I was compelled to.
Holmes, imagine if I'd not returned home when I did. What might have happened?
I knew that you would.
Mr. Holmes, Inspector Lestrade is here to see you.
Mr. Holmes is unable to see anyone at the moment. He is unwell.
A good day, Inspector.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. I'm glad to find you here. I need your help. This is a strange one. We have brought in 2 young bankers from the city, sons of lords, members of the chamber, and so on and so forth. They were found stranded in a rowing boat that was drifting on the Thames.
A romantic escapade with an unhappy ending, Lestrade.
What? Well, yes, they were both in the bath, but, what?
As I said.
And they were tied together.
You are lacking in imagination, Inspector.
Well, no, I'm not. Anyway, there was a banner flapping about in the boat with the RMS Oceanic printed on it and signed by the Merry Men.
The Oceanic? Isn't that the largest steamer ever built?
Yes. And these 2 young banker chaps are sons of the owners of the White Star Line, the company that built it. There are rumours of corruption.
I'm not interested in politics, Lestrade.
I'll keep it then. Here's another one that's a bit more complex and maybe to your liking. It's a murder, but we're unable to find any weapon. We haven't touched anything. It's at the Roman Baths in Strand Lane.
A murder, a vanishing weapon, the Roman Baths. That's for us. Watson, fetch your hat.
He likes it. Parzival says, Sherlock is reading famous Dostoevsky book, Crime and Punishment in Fast Travel Scenes. Yes, he is. Of course he's reading Crime and Punishment. A good one, by the way. I read that when I took the train to work every day for about a year. Douglas Delegard says, this game really makes you think. Yeah, it does. That last one had in my mind all sorts of in mumbles. All right, let's go to Strand Lane, Bath.
Beautiful place.
With a dreadful murder. The body of Sir Rodney Bentcliffe is still in the steam room.
Oh.
It has not been touched, per your usual instructions, Mr. Holmes. I shall be waiting for you here, but please hurry.
Well, I hope they covered his modesty.
Are you able to identify the men who were with the victim in the steam room?
Yes. The manager of the bath, Sir Gregory Pitkin, a lad from the city council, Garrow, and an archaeologist by the name of Blinkhorn. I think the plump one, Garrow, did it. He doesn't seem right in the head.
Well, we shall see. You found no murder weapon?
No, and that's why I called you. All 3 witnesses and the victim were locked in when the murder occurred, and they remained so until we got here. We even had to pick the lock to enter.
I see. Was there anyone else here, apart from those gentlemen in the steam room?
Yes, a Mr. Phillips. He was the one who called the police. He'll be able to give you more details.
That's a lot of men locked in one steam room. A guy dies and they all stay there? Could they all be in on the murder, or maybe he died of natural causes?
Good day to you, Mr. Phillips. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my colleague, Dr. Watson. Would you be so kind as to answer our questions?
Certainly, sir.
Right, Rickle. Wow, that's quite a deduction. Scissor cut, grooms himself, lives alone. Ooh. Starched collar, fastidious. Shiny buttons, fastidious. Manchester City. Telegram sent today.
Please tell us the chain of events from the start of your day. Everything that you can remember. The slightest detail may be of importance.
Very well, sir. I came in at 6:30 this morning, and I opened the baths. I made sure that the room was clean, and I prepared the towels. The brazier was still burning.
There was a fire burning all night.
Yes, Sir Gregory ordered me to light the brazier yesterday. It takes some time until the room is fully heated. The gentlemen had a meeting at 9 o'clock this morning. I wanted everything to be perfect. They'd been in the steam room for 20 minutes when I suddenly heard shouting. I ran to the door, but it was closed. I couldn't open it. So I ran out to the street to call for the police. One constable came up, and then there were others, and they picked the lock. Then Inspector Lestrade came along, and he told us that nothing should be touched.
Who has a business meeting in the steam room of a bath? Just weird.
Did you receive any other visitors this morning?
No one. Until these gentlemen arrived. Sir Gregory was the first. And then, while we were discussing work details, Sir Rodney and Mr. Blinkhorn arrived, and Mr. Garrow followed.
What happened after that?
I waited until they'd all entered the steam room, then I returned to the hall. The changing room door was open, so I should hear if they needed anything.
You would have heard if someone had entered or left the steam room.
Certainly, sir. These doors make a lot of noise.
Okay. Phillips sent a telegram from the post office at 7:30 this morning. Oh. Can we talk with him about that?
These baths are becoming sinister.
So was there a moment of time where he wasn't here?
Any progress, Mr. Holmes?
The steam room's on the other side, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you.
Frigidarium.
What's a frigidarium?
The steam room's on the other side, Mr. Holmes.
Well, I want to go to the frigidarium. Exodus. Very Roman. Apoditerium Sauditorium.
These clothes belong to one of the suspects from the steam room. Clothes belonging to one of the suspects.
So 3 suits of clothes.
Expensive clothes belonging to one of the men from the steam room.
Okay, so expensive clothes.
An ice bucket to keep the champagne chilled. Champagne for a special occasion.
A successful business deal.
Unopened. It was intended to be enjoyed after the steam session.
Find the missing weapon that was used to kill Sir Rodney Benchcliffe. We need to talk about the wine. Here's our souvenir from the last case, the train whistle. All right, so here's Alan Phillips. Phillips is from Manchester. He takes care of both himself and the establishment where he works, and he is seen as a good employee. He went out this morning to send a telegram, probably to his hometown. But we can't talk with him about that. All right, give me just a second. I'll be right back. I just got a text. I'll be back in a minute. I'll be back in a minute. All right, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have to end it here. I know it's a little bit early, but something came up that I need to attend to. So I'll have to come back and finish the broadcast a bit later. Josh Bunton says, Ox, thank you for the entertainment of solving these cases during this weird weather. I know it has been crazy weather, but I'm looking forward to tackling this case, which is very interesting so far. I'm really intrigued. I'd love to be able to explore more, but I'm completely out of time today. So I'm going to go take care of a few things that came up, and I'm going to work on my lore video for tonight. Tomorrow, we've got Scotch and Smoke Rings, Little Nightmares 2. Friday, we've got The Witcher 3, Blood and Wine. And then for the weekend, we've got a Fallout Tactics video. We'll pick up right here where I leave off with more Sherlock Holmes a week from today, next Wednesday, and we'll solve the Bath Steam House case. I'm having a blast. I hope you are too. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see you soon with more lore videos and more live streams. Bye-bye now.